Dear listeners, this is Astha Gill welcoming you all to the Learning Gallery. In this episode, I will talk on a subject that's closely knitted to me. Yes, it is teaching. So, the topic is nowadays the quality of education is very low. Some people think we should encourage our students to evaluate and criticize their teachers. Others believe that it will result in loss of respect and discipline in the classroom. Discuss both sides. A sensitive topic, knowing that both sides are justifiable to a certain extent. This write-up will be strongly influenced by culture and emotions of different parts of the world. Quite dependent on the teacher-student relationship too. So this is how I would like to start. It is an undeniable fact that there is always more than one way of doing a task, including teaching. Moving on, I will now mention the topic and its relevance. Teaching is a noble profession. However, many teachers forget the word noble. Interestingly, it is not just about mastery of a subject. Rather, it demands the courage to make good things happen in a class. A positive learning environment is what is the least expected. Teachers set the foundation of one's goals in life. So the student-teacher relationship is one of the most valuable bonds that one experiences in life. How they treat each other can leave a strong, everlasting impression. I'm sure this statement has taken you back to those days when you had interesting encounters with your teachers, isn't it? Teachers are students for life. That's a fact, and in this write-up, it is important to mention that as well. Teaching is open to feedback and criticism because of the responsibilities it holds. As a profession, it is very progressive in nature and always has a scope of improvement. But who does this part? Who is going to handle the flaw finding and auditing job? The end users? Well, of course, they are the ones who have a direct impact on whatever is taught. That impact can be good or bad. By the way, what is it that we need to judge? Well, it is not a restaurant's feedback. It is quite subjective in nature, and here many parameters are psych-based. In short, it is a graph of one's KSA. So let us talk about that. KSA, that is the knowledge, skills and attitude of a teacher, can make or break the purpose of learning. The students can tell a lot about what is making their learning experience meaningful and what's making it painful or unbearable. Knowing that the end users might be having a tough time, I believe that freedom of sharing personal opinion is essential for the learners. But yes, conditions apply. So this is what I suggest. I second the thought of taking feedback from students, but there has to be a strict protocol that doesn't let this feedback become a judgment pedestal. This subject is about power gradient. Maintaining optimum power gradient can help in meeting the required expectations. Too steep from any end fails the purpose. One peak can create autocracy, and the other can be even more dangerous, making the whole setup compromise on discipline levels, respect, and learning motives. Assessment parameters are meant to be set by educationists, and in fact, the evaluation system is also meant to be taken care of by them. But the whole concept is required to be based on topics that concern students and their performance. Subject knowledge is measurable, but what's more complicated is the skill and attitude to mentor. The evaluators won't be in a capacity to judge the overall performance of a teacher unless they get feedback from the students. Let us understand why it is so. Why can't the evaluators manage the parameters without student feedback? In today's time, despite technological advancements, the learning process has become exceptionally challenging. Children live in a highly destructive environment where concentration levels have become extremely poor. Their motivation levels have gone down the drain. thanks to crazily tough competition, lesser job opportunities, and chaotic urban life. And of course, we all know how pandemic has ruined the whole education system. In such demanding circumstances, having highly motivated, enthusiastic, approachable, and wise teachers is eminent. If students and teachers are working on the same platform and they share the same goals, then they will easily be able to identify the loopholes. You know what? Rather than keeping an ambiguity in this valuable relationship, having a platform to discuss these issues is advisable. So I suggest that when we write essays that are opinion based, and also where we are talking about advantages and disadvantages, it is important to suggest a solution to, wherever possible. So besides all of this and more that one wants to talk about, when it comes to students' criticism and feedback, some suggestions must also be a part of this write-up. In my opinion, a concept of student-teacher meet must be introduced in all schools. This concept should focus on one-to-one discussion between the teacher and her students on every possible aspect. This will help in removing communication barriers and all concerns that are hampering the learning experience. This way, feedback can be received personally and create a healthy relationship. This platform needs to have open-mindedness, where the mentor makes note of all the problems that the students are facing and is ready to accept the missing links. All in all, I would like to sum up by mentioning that there is a boss for every boss. So leaving the criticism part on the boss's boss is what I consider a fair game. A system with practical testing experiments, evaluation criteria, and meaningful parameters with feedback from end users, and a well-established STM system in place are a few ways that can improve the quality of education and save educators from humiliation in class. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there is usually a middle path that can be taken. It makes more sense, shows a practical approach towards the matter, and becomes less argumentative. That's about it. Make your write-up interesting. Your version must have your story and must reflect your individual opinion. All the very best and happy learning. And yes, as a teacher, I eagerly look forward to your feedback. Take care, stay safe.